The most important question I got was, what is your legacy? Not a material legacy, but if life stops now, how do you want to be remembered? What is your frequency legacy? The Phoenix Frequency podcasts are results from that question. When all seemed burnt in your life, the fertile ash of a phoenix is filled with compassion, love, forgiveness, empowerment, intuition, wisdom, generosity, creativity, resilience, a balance of an evolution and involution, what is needed to rise. I am Nienke van Bezooijen and I live my Phoenix frequencies. On a weekly basis, I share my insights, my resources, and I have guests who phoenix themselves. If it resonates to you, you're welcome to rise. Welcome to the Phoenix Frequencies, and today I have with me a special guest. It's Michael Drummond Davidson. He's a heart ambassador, he's a polarity therapist, a healer, a stonemason, a musician, art lover, and a dear friend. And I'm very happy to have you here on the podcast today, Michael.
Great to be here. I'm a polarity therapist and I'm a heart ambassador. And a lot of what I want to talk about has to do with how we prep the room as healers. And I just want to emphasize that everybody, if they just allow themselves, we are all healers. We take care of our plants, we take care of our cats, our pets. Hopefully we take care of ourselves, our children, our families. We're caregivers, we're spirit beings. So we just take pause for a minute here and we breathe through our hearts, because the heart is what makes our wisdom. And in this breath work, we begin to center ourselves. So we'll start off just by holding space here and breathe through our heart, count to 3, and let go. Count to 4, 5, 6. And we'll go again through our hearts. Breath. In, 2, 3, and let go. Out. 4, 5, 6. As healers, when we prepare a room, if you're a client, somebody's coming over, you want to prepare a room. You can set up your table or your chairs so you can receive your client. And we prep the room. We make sure the waste baskets are empty. The floor is swept. We open the window, let air come in. We light a candle. We light some incense, and we prep that room so we create a space, an empty space, but not really. We create a space to receive that person. And why? Because there's no clutter. So in our work as healers, when we meditate, we try to focus on center, which is connected to the breath, and observe our thoughts, watch our thoughts. And in this action of watching our thoughts, we are emptying our relationship of content. In other words, we're going to point zero or neutral, where we're able to listen. This is a critical fact in healing, because we all learn how to listen, and we listen with the intuitive mirror. I started out as a miner, and one night we blew open a seam, what's called a seam, and this is a vein of mineral content. It's in the nomenclature of the geology of within the mine. It's a spectacular thing to find, because it's very, very rich ore. And in that, when we blew this seam, a small hole appeared at ground level, and the hole was like the size of a doggy, what I call a doggy door, a door that a dog can go in and out. Everybody went to take a break. I decided to crawl through the hole. I was 20 years old. I really didn't think about things that much. It was really a dangerous thing to do, because first of all, these mines are underneath 100-foot lakes, and below that there's underground rivers. And so crawling through a hole like that, you could fall into a chasm, into a river, and you'd never be seen again. But that's not what happened. I crawled through this hole. I got about 5 feet in, and I was able to stand up in a room. When I say stand up in a room, I was sideways to, or what's called stage right, to a wall of crystal.
Crystals,
yeah. Now this is milk quartz. These are different all different types of crystals, but nice, big size. In mining, you find crystals. There's even zinc crystals. They don't look like they do in the books. All gems have it, but they polish and they shine really nice because they are crystalline. Anyway, I was in this room looking sideways at a wall of crystals that were winking and blinking into the abyss of the earth. And I was awestruck. I've never seen anything like this because they were working. It seemed to me on an intuitive level, the intuitive mirror again, it seemed to me that they were completing complicated geometries.
Did you have a headlight on so you could see it?
Yes.
Because it would be dark otherwise.
Yeah. I had well, actually, it wouldn't have been because these things were blinking. But yes, I had my light on, but I was sideways to. In other words, they were like you're on stage when you're off stage and you're witnessing a performance. Well, that's all going out into the audience, right? So that was how I experienced. Within 10 or 15 seconds, my presence was noticed and they started shutting down. And I'm awestruck. I have never seen anything. And then I said, oh my God, I didn't do anything. Why did they shut down? I felt like a little kid, it's like, I don't know but that was not me. I didn't do anything for them to shut down. And then I got one of those still small voices that said, ask permission to be here. Now, that was pretty profound. I was in a pretty unique place. It wasn't a time to go, I'm going to go think about this. I just said, is it okay if I'm here? Just ask. It's okay if I'm here. And they came back on. Came back on. Now, at that time, I could hear the men coming back to work. So I crawled back out the hole. I never told anybody about that experience because miners collect crystals. I felt somehow I had been shown something that very few people get to experience. In other words, I felt gifted.
You didn't want to share in a way, so to quote, secret or gift you were given.
No, those men
for hunting.
They would have gone in there and carved them out. Very special experience. And after that happened, I became fascinated with geology. I took out books to the library. I'd study at night. I'd even take a book to the bar so I could see my friends, but I was going to study a certain page in geology. And then I became interested in mortar. What makes up cement? Why does it work? Why did Rome exist? And what was in that mix? Became very interested in that. Became interested in floors of great antiquity. So I was studying all this, and then I was in a sand mine. I was in a very tragic accident. It was a collapse, and I'm going to cut to the quick. A lot of drama. You just leave your body. It's like you and I are having a conversation. We're here together, but it's all of a sudden the lights go out. You are in a journey. Your consciousness as we know it, nope, you don't have that. Your personality, nope, don't have it. Your ego, your intellect, nope, no, I don't have any of that. You know what I mean? This is just my opinion now. What you're tethered to is this soul, this spirit you've actually had for a long time. You're in this place that is just so familiar to you, just a breath of fresh air. It goes over lifetimes.
It's like coming home in a very special way.
Yeah, and to go back to the 3D of our conversation right here and the here and now, we go back, it's tethered to that center point of the breath. It's when we prep the room. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. I had a lot of stuff I saw in that journey. That's big in takeaways is that point is our vehicle.
How did first the gift of the crystals and then later the accident?
The gift was it gave me once I recovered. I then went into a career of stonemasonry. It took me to Europe. I worked in Scotland for many years. I became expert at my craft. I speak enough Russian and French to get what I want. I was on these embassy jobs in the Eastern Bloc, and also I restored our embassy in Greece. This gift in this accident was I lost my eye in the mines, and this part of my face is all plastic surgery. I lost my sight. I had a compound fracture of the femur. I wasn't a happy puppy, but I survived. And one of the things, now that I'm a polarity therapist and I'm also a heart ambassador, we perceive things as energy. And one of the gifts that I had from the mine accident was, even though I'm blind in one eye, I have a uncanny perception of my craft. Let's just put it this way. I've been very successful at it. I also think I was in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. But that's where I'm able to read what's going on with stonework. Is it damaged? Is it repairable? Is it this type of knowledge and expertise? Very, very valuable in the field. And so it gave me a career, which I traveled most of the world in.
Is it, Michael, in the gift? Is what I always say and what I shared on a previous podcast, the more depth I got, the better I could hear. So it's this other dimension in what you see and hear. If your perceived sight or hearing is no longer there, it gives an other layer to it.
It can. There's opportunities there. When you perceive things, a lot of it doesn't make sense. And a lot of people get scared. They say, you know what? I don't want that. You know, I'm not going to believe that. They talk themselves out of it. I was lucky enough to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
There was times when we emphasize, we perceive things energetically. It puts on a whole new value to life.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my takeaways. I lived next to a YMCA in New York, which I was able to swim every day once my bones mended, and I was able to work up to a mile a day. So I got into a rigorous routine, you know, getting my physical capabilities back. And then I went to Scotland with my girlfriend, and I was a stonemason in a place called Findhorn. Now, Findhorn is one of the great centers, I would say, the spirit and the beauty of the garden. Today, it's not the same as it was when you're 22 and 24 years old. Back then, it was blossoming and what I call beauty of the garden.
There's also community based, isn't it?
Yeah. When you're growing beauty all around you, it's very, very attractive. And you go through an inner process. That's why these values, going back to polarity, values of the elements have this beautiful thing that we can step into if we allow ourselves. The beauty of nature, for instance. So when we step into that, our neutrality becomes empowered. It's like this whole welcoming blanket that you're sitting, that you are, after you leave your body, you are connected to all that there is. Going back to the breath again. And that's why your journey seems so familiar when you leave. And when you leave your body, you are responsible for stuff that happened. Basically, when you had free choice. And I'm not going to dwell on it. We all have free choice. We all have made decisions we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, or that we still regret, life isn't perfect, doesn't exist.
Right. But the thing is, when you make a decision that caused something, sadness or hurt, it's not a judgment, it's an energy. So when you cause something, sadness or hurt, make up in your own mind. That could be hurting a pet or, it could be another human being. When you have free choice, now an accident is an accident, but when you have free choice and the result is I may have won something, I may have gained something, but if I somehow caused other people hurt or sadness, there's a registration of it. And it's energetic. It's not somebody in a white beard saying there's an energy to that you created. And that's the other thing that I want to carry over back to leaving your body is that you created that energy. It's yours,
But are you willing to take that free choice and take the responsibility?
Our whole thing is to recognize our actions and find out if they're energy gainers or energy drainers.
Mm-hmm. And have free choice from there.
Have your free choice, but if it's an energy drainer, there's a lesson in there that we need to pay attention to. That's all I'm saying. It's how we touch people. And that could be with, hey, why don't you try this? And that turns out to be a new invention that saves lives. Or it might be, let me carry those bags up the stairs for you. No, I don't want any money. Thank you. And it kind of makes your day because you help somebody that obviously needed help. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you're not keeping a scorecard. It's just, you did the right thing.
Yeah. Free choice.
And you know what? It flows and it comes back. You don't know how it comes back. You don't know how it looks, but it comes back. You put that out there. Just, yeah. I light these candles because I prep the room. I open up for something greater to come in. Maybe not.
So Michael, if I hear you all and how you prep the room, how you choose your frequency, your energy in your life now, if I ask if you can name 3 Phoenix frequencies, what you nurture in life, what frequencies are they for you now, comparing to the 20-year-old going into the mind, not knowing so much?
Well, I think it's the frequency of an empowered neutrality for me. It has to be. We're sailors, we're healers. Through practices and experience, you hopefully going to be able to carry yourself through the experience in whatever endeavor that it is. It's only the mind that gets in the way. So our issues is our greatest blueprint for liberation.
So if we bump, it's a lesson.
Yeah, if you say something about my dog or, demean my kitty cat or something, and I go down this wormhole of negativity, that's my issue. I want to be curious about that. I want to be curious about why I have that for a trigger. First of all, I learned something from it. It allows me to free to be curious. I'm not locked into my ideas or my opinions. I want to know why. If there's anything I could share with, if I went down and started worrying about something, was to be able to separate myself, my mind, and it's not my center. It's not the reality that I want to live in. See, the mind wants you to live in its reality. What we're able to do through the heart now, because the heart has intelligence, we're able to live in that reality because we're able to choose that reality. You have free choice now, free choice. For me, I have a more desired outcome when I practice that, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And what I love about you, that is you can speak in how I know you freely about where you bump your nose and be curious to transform, to go to lesson learned. You're not a happy head. You are a real heart. That's how I perceive you. So what I know, you are up to a real nice future project. So can you share what it is? You're going to do something with kids, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I'm working with kids. We live in the American Deep South here and near the Mississippi, and there's swamps. And these swamps have cypress trees. Now, cypress tree grows up out of the water, little islands of land. Mostly you get in kayaks, and it's very, very cool because if it's at night, the stars reflect off the water and you don't know what up and down is. You're in the galaxies. If it's during the day, it's almost the same thing because the water reflects the sky. And you're out underneath tree canopies floating around in this universe. And then, of course, we have our school there on one of the islands. We teach about nature. And I am a focalizer for helping with the educational part of this, bringing in materials, helping the teachers who are much younger than I am, but they're gifted. They kind of make everything fun for children. And I really like that. So that's the kind of thing I'm attracted to. And so I'm gathering information about our soil, how magical soil is, how magical the microbes are, stuff for kids. I not only love the earth, but see how it all works together.
So if people have materials, they
if
can
they have a favorite
contact
book,
you. Okay.
Yeah, favorite for a teacher, but just stuff that's really cool for kids, learning about nature and how all nature is connected. And
I think that's a lovely frequency to pass on. So if any of the listeners will have something, I'll make sure they get in touch with you. So we make that work.
Yeah, I spoke at the UN about that as a heart ambassador. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, please do. Thank you so much.
Will do.